Hi fans of high quality entertainment. This is my very first video being 66 years old. And thank you very much for all of the very nice birthday messages yesterday on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Really means a lot to me. And all the super chats from the live chat yesterday. I am now a millionaire. Yeah, thanks to the super chats. Speaking of getting older, there's good things and bad things about getting older. One of the actual positive things about getting older is, I feel, I don't know, music just means more and more as the years go by. You respect it more, you appreciate music more. You go back to albums that you listened to in the past that you thought were either okay or maybe you didn't even like, and you re-listen to them and you realize, why didn't I appreciate this album when I first heard it? Sometimes an album takes a few years to get into and appreciate. I don't know why, but that's the way it goes. Even with, artists that you really love. There's certain albums you think, yeah, that's okay, but you don't play it very, very often. So what I've done is I've just gathered together 10 albums that on first listen, and I think for most of these, for a few years, I didn't care for them very much. And what I've done is, with the 10 I've picked, I've ranked them from my least, I love them all, but from my least favorite to my favorite. Ranking is always fun. And some of these, of course, I've talked about before, but I enjoy talking about the underdog of albums. So number 10, I bought this album when it came out on vinyl, years and years and years ago, and I just, I liked it, I guess, but I played it, a handful of times, and then I put it away and never really thought about it too much throughout the years, even though it was, always sitting in my CD collection. But I would say 2 or 3 years ago, I just started playing this album again, and I realized, dang, it is a very underrated album. It is the Rolling Stones' Emotional Rescue. Not a big fan of the album cover, though, or the back cover. But yeah, and it also has one of my all-time favorite Rolling Stones songs, All About You, sung by Keith Richards. But it is a really, really, really good album. And, if you're a Rolling Stones fan and you just think it's an okay album, I suggest you give it another listen, because it's, like I said, very underrated. I would give this a 9 out of 10. This artist, like I always say, there's all, not that I've got thousands of CDs, but I've got enough CDs to listen to. And some of them just sit there year after year being totally ignored. And for this artist, I have 3 of his albums. One is the greatest hits. And like I said, they would just sit in my collection year after year after year. And then about a year ago, I started to listen to this artist again, and it's like, oh my God, these albums are way, way better than, when they first came out. It is the mighty Joe Cocker. And on my ASMR channel, I just did a video, 135 acts that are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Joe Cocker is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That is just wrong. Yeah. So this is his second album. I have his first one too, and like I said, a greatest hits, and I'd love to get his third album that is pretty pricey. It has High Time We Went on it and Woman to Woman. If anybody has that CD at a cheap price, let me know. Yeah, Dear Landlord, Leonard Cohen's Bird on a Wire, Lottie Miss Claudie, She Came In Through the Bathroom Window, Hitchcock Railway, and just so many great songs. Something, Delta Lady, of course, and Darling Be Home Soon, one of my favorite 60s songs. And 2 bonus tracks too. She's Good to Me and Let It Be. I played this last night. 10 out of 10. Number 8. Huge fan of this band, and this was one of maybe, there might be 2 or 3 of their albums that I rarely play. But this one, I finally, about a year ago, once again, it finally hit me that this is a fantastic album. It is, yes, The Ladder. 10 out of 10. It's a bit more poppy, I guess. Even has a bit of like reggae, and so it took me a while to warm up to it, but fantastic. Oh, number 7. Oh boy. I bought this album when it came out on vinyl back in 70, I'm not sure when this came out, 74, 75? Yeah, 74 I think. And I just couldn't get into it, man. Then, throughout the years, I never even had it on CD. And one day, a couple of years ago, I was listening to it on Spotify, and it's like, oh, this is way better than what I remember. And so I got 2 CDs in one. I actually haven't listened to the other one as much because I focus on Shock Treatment by the Edgar Winter Group. It's just such a talented band, and there's so many different kind of genres that they do that it's a little all over the place, but it's still great. It's got hard rock, it's got jazz, it's got pop, some great pop songs by Dan Hartman. I never realized Edgar Winter and Dan Hartman are such great singers, and just such a great band. I highly recommend checking out Shock Treatment. And yeah, I do need to listen to They Only Come Out at Night a bit more. I've only played it once or twice. 10 out of 10. They're all 10 out of 10s that I'm showing now. Number 6, and one of the band members on Facebook wished me a happy birthday, as did the original drummer for Sparks. Thank you. And I've talked about this many times, so I'll just say once again, when their second album came out, it was a big disappointment to me. I thought it was way too poppy. I just kind of gave up on it too quickly. And then a few years back, I started to re-listen to it, and it's my favorite album of theirs now. It's one of Glenn Kellaway from the Basement's favorite bands, Clash. And I'm talking about Hope, although of course 3:47 Eastern Standard Time. But I love that one right away. But Hope, when it came out, like I said, big disappointment, and now I love it. My favorite Clash album. Some of you out there know that I'm a huge fan of Sparks. But when this album came out, it was once again kind of a disappointment. Not that I didn't like it. I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was as good as their previous albums. So it was disappointing. And I would say pretty recently, in the last few months, I've been playing this a lot more. And I just love it now. I don't know why, why you change your mind on music through the years, but maybe it's a sign of maturity. Okay, that's not it. But anyway, Sparks, pulling rabbits out of a hat. So 80s, man, but so good. So yeah, if you're a fan of Sparks and you haven't played this in a while, or, didn't think it was very good, give it another listen, because it's awesome. Number 4, and people bash Spotify and all these streaming services, but I love Spotify because I go back and I listen, like I said, some albums that I didn't really care for in the past, and I listen to them for the first time, sometimes in years, and sometimes, not always, sometimes it's like, oh, this is way better than I thought. And it definitely hit me a couple of years ago with this. When it came out, it was their second album and a huge disappointment. I think I played it maybe 2 or 3 times and then put it away. But now I think this is a very underrated album by The Clash. Give them enough rope. Produced by Blue Oyster Cult's producer, Sandy Pearlman, I think. That is, yeah, Sandy Pearlman. I don't know. I loved Safe European Home and Tommy Gun and English, so the first 3 songs. And then the rest of it I just never cared for, and now I love each and every song. So I'm a huge fan of The Clash. Number 3, this is so good. I keep repeating myself, but once again, when it came out in the early 80s, I don't know. I liked some of the songs, but I just didn't play it very much after I bought it. And probably about 5 years ago or more, I realized what a great album it is. Elvis Costello, Blood and Chocolate. Just as good as his earlier albums. So if you haven't heard this in a while, if you're an Elvis Costello fan and haven't heard this in a while, please give it another spin. Number 2, one of the very few albums by this artist I just couldn't connect with. And then, just one time, playing it again, it's like, you get it. I don't know how it works, but David Bowie's Lodger. Yeah, I love this as much as Low and Station to Station and all of his other great albums. And it includes a couple of my favorite songs. Red Sails and Boys Keep Swinging. But the whole thing is fantastic because the first song is called, in fact, Fantastic Voyage. So, number 1, when it came out in 1980, it was just, kind of thought it was a little on the lame side. I liked a couple of songs, but I thought it was kind of also a bit amateurish or whatever. Like, it just didn't sound right. And through the years, very, very, very slowly, and especially when the deluxe version came out, every time I listen to this, I love it more and more. And it's to the point, it would be in my top, maybe even top 5 Paul McCartney albums. Paul McCartney II. Yeah. Yeah, I always loved Coming Up and Temporary Secretary, but now I really appreciate, I love On the Way, Waterfalls is gorgeous, Nobody Knows, Summer's Day Song, Frozen JAP, Bogie Music, Dark Room, and then it ends with the gorgeous One of These Days, one of his best acoustic numbers. Yeah, highly recommend. If you haven't heard this in a while, you just thought it was okay or good, this is a great Paul McCartney album. And when he was recording, he was just, you know, he loves music and he was just at home recording, not planning to make an actual studio album. And then because of the drug bust and all that, he ended up releasing this. And it is awesome. And that's it. I would love your thoughts on the albums I showed, and please remember to like the video and leave a comment below. Share the video with all of your family and friends if you have any. And thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.